Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tia. Today we're doing just a little sit down chat about something that I feel like is not talked about often or frequently enough in the realm of motherhood, and that is about breastfeeding. Now today I'm going to share a little bit into the journey of my breastfeeding journey with my daughter Lainey and why and how I decided to wean her at 7 months old onto formula. Before I get too much into it, I just want to state that everyone's journey is so different. You really can't compare one woman's story of breastfeeding to another, or really anything in motherhood for that matter, but today we're talking about breastfeeding, so using that as the example. But every baby is different, every mom is different, every season of life that the mom is walking through while breastfeeding her daughter or son is different, and so you really can't compare. And so first and foremost, I just want to tell you that if you are a mom, you are doing a great job. And there's no greater job in the world than raising your kids. And as long as you are doing what's absolutely best for your baby, it does not matter whether that baby is breastfed or whether that baby is formula fed, or if you're pumping or if you're not, or if they're on a bottle or if they're not. Like, you are taking care of your baby, so give yourself grace. And that is something that I have had to learn. So let's dive a little bit into my journey. So when my daughter Lainey was born at the end of July of 2022, my son was almost 14 months old. So yes, we are one of those crazy 2 under 2 families. And he was off nursing, he was off formula, he was off of all of that. And I told myself with a second, and having a second so soon, that I was not going to put pressure on myself. I feel like so many women say, I have to nurse for 12 months, I have to nurse for 2 years, formula is bad, I can never use this, like they have to be exclusively breastfed. And I didn't want to go into it with that mindset. I wanted to go into nursing my daughter with no expectations. If it worked, great. If it didn't work, that's okay too. If I can nurse her for a year, great. If it's 3 months, great. Like, I don't want to have expectations. I didn't love breastfeeding my son. I breastfed him till about 7 months, and then I decided to wean him and start formula, and it was the best decision for our family. And so with my daughter, I knew that having a second, like, this was going to add a whole nother level of complexity into being a mom, because I have a 13-month-old who is not even walking fully yet, and now I have a newborn. And so I didn't put any expectations on myself, but when she was born, breastfeeding was hard. Her latch was so bad. We looked into if she had a tongue tie, a lip tie. There was nothing. Lactation consultants in the hospital were helping me. She would latch right away, but her latch was very poor. It hurt so much. I vividly remember one evening before putting my daughter down for bed that I was texting my sister-in-law, Hannah. Love her. She had her first child around just slightly before I had my first child. And so I was just talking to her and I was like, I don't know if I can continue doing this. Like, I am bleeding. I am in pain. Like, nursing is so hard. How am I supposed to continue doing this? But she was giving me some tips and we were talking about it, and she was like, hey, do whatever's best for you. And I was like, I'm gonna keep going and just see. Like, let me just try to make it a little bit longer and a little bit longer. Well, after like a month or so, the pain stopped. We were in a really good routine. She was great at feeding. She was gaining weight, and it was good. Now, did I enjoy it? I never really have found like that true love of breastfeeding like some moms do. And I don't want to like feel guilt over that, but that's just like, I just don't absolutely love it. Like, I'm glad I can feed my baby. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to breastfeed, but I'm not one of these people who's like, I love this. It's so amazing. I'm so like, I enjoy it because it feeds my baby, and I'm thankful I can do it because I know a lot of women can't, but I don't absolutely love the process. But my daughter started sleeping through the night at like 6 weeks old. Life was good. 2 under 2. We were crushing it. It was so, like, I don't want to say so easy, but it was easier than I expected. Like, all this stuff was going great. And then around 2.5 months old, my daughter was hit with RSV. It was not a scary hospitalization or anything like that, but we did have to rush to the ER one night. We're there in the middle of the morning, right before we had to head out of town. Like, it was a big ordeal. She was overall good, but that started kind of affecting sleep. That came, that went, she was great. Then about a month after that, she got COVID, ear infections, an infection behind her ear where she needed cream, and teething all happened within a span of like 8 weeks. So in 2 months, my daughter went from sleeping through the night, happy-go-lucky, all this, to sleep disrupted, waking up all the time, just screaming in the night. Like her personality just was like night and day. And it was like all of a sudden, I was like, what's going on? I took her in multiple times because her ears just weren't getting better, and just all this stuff was happening that completely flipped everything. And my son's journey with breastfeeding, he breastfed exclusively, or he breastfed for 7 months, but he was really good at taking a bottle where I would pump and other people could feed him. My husband and I could go on dates. My husband and I could be alone. He could stay at my mom and dad's house. Like, it was wonderful. But Lainey, and I had forgotten to mention this earlier, but she did not like bottles. We tried every kind. We tried them early. All these things, and she just wouldn't take one. And I did research what bottles are best for breastfed babies that won't take bottles, and we tried because I wanted that freedom to be able to say, hey, I need time alone with my husband. And so Lainey, I had won a giveaway to a tiny house. You can check out that video. I'll link it below. That my husband and I got to go to Wisconsin, Mondovi, Wisconsin, to the cutest little tiny house. And I was a little bit upset because my daughter had to come with us. Now again, it's not the end of the world. It didn't ruin our time, but I was really hoping she would, by 4 months old, be okay to take a bottle, that she could stay 2 nights away from us for the first time, so my husband and I could have some alone time. We were in a season of transition with moving and all this stuff, and we really just needed time, just us. And so around 4 months, when all of this started happening, the COVID, the ear infections, the behind the ear infection, the teething, the sleep complete changing and not going back to normal at all, and almost worse than it was when she was a newborn, I was like, I don't know if I want to breastfeed anymore. Now, this journey lasted for months of this just hardship with her lack of sleep, with me feeling more frustrated and feeling just like I want to be done, but she will not take a bottle. Now, at her 6-month appointment, I talked to her pediatrician and was like, hey, I really feel like I want to wean her, but she will not take a bottle. Like, do you have any recommendations? Like, I really feel at peace inside, like this is something I'm supposed to do, because I was dealing with anxiety. I was dealing just with like such a lack of sleep. And when you're a firstborn, like when you just have one child and they wake up a ton in the night, you at least have the option to be able to rest during the day. And I didn't really rest during the day with my first, but I had the option to. I could sit down for a couple minutes and just sit in silence while he slept. Like, you have more availability to do that. But I had a toddler. I couldn't just, with lack of sleep, just sit on the couch for a couple minutes and rest. Like, I didn't have that option. And so I went to her at that 6-month appointment and was like, hey, help. Basically, that was it. Like, help me. What do? I trust you. We had been working with her since before my son was born, or when my son was born. And so she had been with our family for a while. And I was like, can you, like, what advice do you have? And she told me something that completely changed. And she said, then just do it. And I was like, but I just told you, like, she doesn't take a bottle. Like, she's only exclusively breastfed. Like, just do it. And she was like, your baby will not go without food. They will eat, but sometimes your baby is so much knowing that breastfeeding is still an option, they will refuse the bottle because they know what they prefer is still an option. So she said, how I suggest going about this is if you have a few days where you cannot be around a ton, leave it to your husband or somebody else to be there and do most of the feedings, and just keep trying. Just keep trying the bottle. Eventually, she's gonna take it. She's not gonna starve. It'll be okay. You just have to kind of take that leap, stand back a few minutes so she doesn't like see you during feedings, like so she doesn't know that you are an option. Because if she knows that you're sitting right there and she sees you and she's like, okay, well, I can nurse, so why am I taking this? She's not gonna take it. And at that time, my husband was actually in Israel on a trip, and so we waited. While he was gone, stayed with my parents like the entire time, which was a godsend. And we would try bottles like once or twice a day. She didn't love them. We could maybe get half an ounce down, maybe 1 ounce. And this was bottles still of, like, I would try bottles with breast milk. I'd try bottles with formula at this time, but she just still wasn't loving them. Then when my husband got back, I was like, okay, we are only doing bottles. Like, with the time it was and all that, like, I wasn't able to just like go away for a few days. I was there, but we had him do most of the feedings and I would just like pump a little bit, but like he was doing bottles with her. Well, she was doing great for a couple days and then all of a sudden she just didn't want to take them. And she was screaming, she was having a fit. And so I gave in and I was like, I'm just gonna nurse her. Like, maybe I'm just like, maybe this isn't supposed to happen. And I wasn't happy about it. I can be honest and say I didn't have the best like mindset with it. I just so badly knew that I had felt more anxious than I'd ever felt in my life. I felt so much like not at peace that I was like, knowing that this feeding my daughter wasn't 100% solely on me and me alone, but that somebody else could wake up in the night with her. Like, we could share that responsibility instead of feeling like feeding was all on me. When she was waking up one night while my husband was gone in Israel, she woke up 8 times in one night. And again, then you got a toddler to wake up to. You have to still like, just all the responsibilities of motherhood despite waking up 8 times. Like, let's say I was even in bed for 8 hours. That's every hour or more frequent. Like, that's a lot of times. I woke up that day and felt absolutely dead and was like, I need a change. Like, I can't keep doing this. And so then I talked to my mom one day and I called her and I started crying. I was like, I just really need my daughter to take a bottle. And we came with the conclusion that my mom would take my daughter and my daughter alone. It would be my daughter's first night away from us. This was around 7 months old. And she would take her overnight, her first couple nights away for 2 nights. And the goal would be for her to wean. She wouldn't see me, her mom, walking around. She would only have formula bottles available. And guess what? It worked. I saw her the next day or 3 days later or 2, whatever it was. I think it was like 2.5 days, 2 nights or something like that. And I saw my mom and she goes, Tia, you're done nursing. Like, and she said it with the happiest, like, she was like, don't go nursing anymore, because she knew that like my daughter was weaned, all was good. I didn't have to feel the pressure of this anymore. Like, all is well. And since then, that was about a month ago, month and a half ago, my daughter has officially been weaned. Now, the whole weaning, what that does to your body is a whole nother story for another day. I didn't experience anything when I weaned my son. And this time around, I don't know if it's different gender. I don't know if it's the fact that she went from exclusively nursing to fully bottles, whereas my son did bottles and nursing for a while. But like, that's a story for another day as to what that's done to my body, but it is so nice. My husband and I have gotten in a routine of, so some nights she's still waking up, some nights she's not, some nights it's like twice, other times it's nothing, but we just say we switch off. So it's so nice. If it's his turn, I can just lay in bed and know that she's in good hands and I don't have to wake up with her. Like, it's such a blessing. And so that is the story of why and how we weaned my daughter from exclusively nursing to formula bottles in the span of about a month. Again, this is my journey. Your journey as a mom and nursing is probably gonna look so different, and that's totally normal and that's totally okay. We are just all here wanting to do the best thing for us and our mental health, as well as the best thing for our babies. And that is all we can do as moms. And so I hope if you are in a journey of feeling just like you, just mom guilt about something, or just pressure to do things a certain way, that you would just take a step back, say what is best for my baby and what is best for me and our family. That's gonna look different than the person over there, and it's gonna look different than the person over there, and that is okay. A fed baby is better than anything. That they can get formula, they can get breast milk, but a fed baby is what matters. And my daughter is so happy. She drinks these bottles so well. Let me actually show you the kind of bottle in case you're out there and you're like, my baby doesn't like bottles either. Let me show you the one bottle she'll take. I'll be right back. Okay, the one bottle my daughter will take, I don't even know how to say this, Lansano. These purple bottles. This is the only one. I heard that these were a great recommendation because the nipple is really similar to a mom's nipple. And so all that to say, if you need your baby to take a bottle, whether it's formula, whether it's breast milk, whatever it is, maybe try these if you are struggling. But thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video, commented, subscribed to my channel for just videos all about daily life and motherhood with having 2 babies under 2 years old. So I will talk to you later. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.